Hi, welcome back to a Dylan Rounds live chat discussion. This is a live video premiere, but the chat is actually live real time, okay? This is arguably more of an experimental video. It's still to do with Dylan Rounds, but the majority of this video, which you'll eventually notice later on, is more focused and dedicated to the live chat. So whereas other times I'd make a video, I'd talk about this, that, compare, contrast, it's too late to be making a video like that. The video I have planned, it wouldn't be possible to do tonight. So that's why I'm doing it tomorrow. Why? Well, because football was on, okay? Pulled a bit of a Jim Terry, bit of a Candice Cooley. Sorry man, football's on, that's more important. And I'm not talking about American football. So people aren't confused, I was watching soccer. Does that make sense? Okay. It was quite good in the end, the end result. Ended down to penalties. It was the one before the penalties in the extra time, 107th minute, Neymar scored for Brazil, and then in the 117th minute, it was Petrovic, or however you say his name, for Croatia. Then went to penalties. The Croatian goalkeeper managed to save, throughout the game, but also in a penalty shootout, just that one made a big difference. And the pattern, how it's followed, it doesn't just apply to Dylan Round's case or Kenny Veach mysteries or anything in general. You notice a pattern, and I have noticed it throughout the World Cup, all right? That whoever takes the first penalty, if they miss, they're likely to be knocked out of the, stage of the tournament. That's what's happened with Japan, taking their first. I think with Spain as well, maybe not literally going first to take the very first penalty, but their first player taking the first penalty for their team under that circumstance. And it's just seemed to have followed. Same with tonight, Brazil, because the first penalty taker missed. So that was very interesting and dramatic right at the end. Okay, see what happens next. But yeah, welcome if you're in the live chat now. May not be as many this time around because the video itself is kind of dead, right, in terms of the discussion topics, but that's okay because it's just like a filler in. More significance behind this video is to enable people just to hang out if they wish to in the chat or just talk, because as far as YouTube goes, there isn't really any other place, right? I mean, you got live stream, but that's just kind of messy, that, in a sense. Just want to see how this one goes, if it's worth doing in the future, right? I don't know if I'll do do you know when I said about outros in the past, right? Bear in mind, in the live chat right now, you can talk about the Dylan Rounds case if you want to. You don't have to listen to my voice. But previously, when it came to Dylan Rounds videos, at the end I'll do maybe 10-15 minutes worth of just random footage with music playing in the background. Maybe I can do something like that this time round. I mean, you've seen it with other channels when they've done live streams and they've got quite a long intro, right? About 10-20 minutes of random music playing. You've seen it on Salty Pancake's channel. And then even kind of unrelated to the Dylan Rounds case, but people caught up in drama of the case, you get certain channels who have a live stream running, but they're not saying anything. It's just like a blank screen or a colourful empty screen with the live chat ongoing for 12 hours. It's kind of weird, but I don't know why people do it. Maybe it's just if anyone wants to drop by, they've got a message to pass on, I guess. That could be how it applies. But yeah, as for the Dylan Rounds case, it's just one of those things where it's still ongoing. I mean, just to cut in straight away, I know some people with time have suggested cover a case in your own country. Literally 100% of the time when it comes to mysteries, when it comes to school shootings, when it comes to dark stuff, when it comes to certain environments and certain creatures, urban myths, legends, whatever it may be, I always lock on to the US as, en mi opinión, es muy, I don't know what the word you could say, muy bien, shit Spanish, right? But I just prefer the US mysteries. I prefer the US serial killers, the US, like, out of interest, that's all. US murders, US shooters, mass shooters, school shooters, the Bigfoot, the woodlands and all that, the terrain, the desert, the woodland. It just feels more rough, feels a bit more wild, feels a bit more spooky, a bit dark. And then you got UK. Just how it works for me, right? You do what you do, and if it works, it works. Simple as that. Sure, there will be many missing people, both in the US, UK, and around the world. But this is where the manipulation comes in, and I'm going to bring it up right now. Whether it be covering the Kenny Veach case, or maybe covering, what do you call it? Oh my God, I'm getting a cold. My God. Did I just say I'm getting a cold? Oh, did I speak too soon in the last video, Nella? No, it's under control. All under control. It's this fucking radiator right in front of me generating too much heat. So my face goes red. It's the radiator literally right in front of me. It's very hot here, right? Normally it's being very cold, but it's because just the timing, right? So my face goes red. It's the radiator. It's the heat. It's not because of anything else, okay? Right, so this is what I'm going to say. When it comes to covering mysteries, missing people more precisely, it goes into a bidding war. Not literally with people's money, but more in people's voices. You cover a particular case. Under the conditions you cover it for quite some time. It's one of those things where some people either get bored, sick and tired of the coverage of this case because it's gone on for so long, or random people pop in and say, oh, what about all the other missing people? You should be taking them into mind as well. Stop putting all your time and effort into just one person. And then it goes back and forth. You move on to another case for so long, and then more people come in, or previous people come in and then say, oh, why are you covering this case? You should be covering this one. And I noticed it with the Kenny Veach one. I covered it for so long, 2 years. People are bound to get sick, some of them, right? It's inevitable. Some people in real life as well. And yet the moment I moved on or did something else, then it was like, oh, where are you? Where are you? Oh, come back, come back. And it's like, yeah, this, that, what? A bidding war. That's what it comes down to, manipulation, right? I cover what I can cover. If there is endless material, I will endlessly cover a case, right? It just makes sense. If, let's say, realistically, because you've got to be realistic, you've got to take two things into mind, both trying to solve it, but also trying to reach out to as many people as possible to spread awareness. If for whatever reason, let's just say the Dylan Brown's case after a year or something is still ongoing, I can still keep making videos, maybe the more theory-based ones, and the whole concept of, you know, keeping the noise out there, trying to raise awareness on the case, right? That's the whole aim, so it doesn't die out. But if one was still performing the same actions, trying to keep the case alive, but statistically it died, and there was only like 5 people watching per video, compared to how more people would normally watch, then obviously you probably do move away for a bit, because it's like, it's staring you in the face and telling you it ain't working anymore, right? And people could say, oh, but then you're focusing too much on the statistics. Oh, you're focusing too much on the numbers. You know, you shouldn't care about that. You should just care about the actual missing person. But that's where it becomes manipulative as well, because what is the point? And you've got to be realistic and ask yourself, whilst you do what you do, if no one or hardly anyone is present to watch, hear, listen, then whatever you say, whatever you cover and produce will fall on deaf ears. So you won't be creating much noise, you're not going to be spreading much awareness on the case, and it's inevitably gonna die anyway, whether it be before or like later on, and you're on the sinking ship and you actually see it real time with the numbers dropping. So it's very, very, very simplistic to understand. If humans do complain about that point, then definitely egocentric, simple as. But yeah, I just think the US cases, the US mysteries are just better than UK. That's just where I see it. And people can resist as much as they want, right? But that's just how I think. That's how I operate. Simple as. There you go. And this is the thing. With time, you'll get humans and it'll be like, so what? Covering it online. So what? So what? It's like, well, you have one and then the other. The boots on ground, the eagle eyes from above, or the media coverage. Both complement each other, right? Simple as. Just a rough way of wording it. Candice Cooley, at some point, boots on ground, at some point out there, right? Someone like Doug, no thanks, comes on in. Online coverage, but enables the platform for Candice to step on and share her voice, her concerns and whatever, right? Whether people, agree with the points made on the show or not, you see how one complements the other. That's just how it is. And it's necessary when it comes to a case or a mystery, especially when there's no press conferences, okay? Still, there will be suspicion, like with the family members. I think some people here and there have been bringing up saying, is there a possibility that the police are working on it behind the scenes? But it appears they've stepped backwards, gone quiet, almost appearing submissive, but, maybe they're not revealing stuff because they have got to that point where they were just a bit too wary of Candice Cooley in some way or another. Is that a possibility? Apologies if I do cut in from random point to point. It's just because this is literally on the spot, okay? Literally on the spot. Arguably, the main importance within this video is more to do with the live chat, okay? But one important point I will mention right now, and awareness will eventually spread, okay? Ellen Burg. Regarding Ellen Burg, okay? So recently, she supposedly appeared in my live video premiere, okay? Commenting of a negative tone and a bit of resistance as well. A little unusual, and other people, suspected that. But people assumed that it was the Ellen Burg. And in a circumstance like that, you'd probably just go along with it because you've got the same profile, the same username, and zero content, because Ellen Burg does not upload videos to her channel. The only part you could, determine whether it's real or not is the about section, but you would need to know exactly when the account was created, right? If you don't know when, you can't compare contrast, right? To put it very clearly, the Ellen Burg account, which showed up, not in my last video, but the video before that, live video premiere, it was a fake account, okay? Now, I can't remember off the top of my head which one's which in terms of the dates, but I can clear that in a second regarding it in a sense. The fake account had a certain date created, the genuine account had a different account created. One said, I think, the 23rd of July. I think the other one said the 26th of August, okay? Now, the fake account in their about section was titled in the caption of the about section, the bio was called Be Kind. In Ellen's actual, the real Ellen Burg's profile, caption, bio, there's nothing written. Okay, so it's blank. If you want further context to know who the real Ellen Burg account is, okay, you look at my last video, you go to the comment section, and Ellen Burg left a comment there, so you can check it there, okay? And to some people could be like, yeah, but, just because another Ellen Burg account stepped in, how do you know that's the real one? It could be yet another fake account causing more fake awareness. Well, first of all, tone of voice, tone of language, tone of text. That's the first sign, right? When you saw the fake Warlike Wrath accounts, when you saw the fake Weedle B accounts, what did they all have in common? That they were asking many questions in a weird way, and but they were quite resistant and defensive at times. They weren't acting exactly normal, were they? And eventually they dispersed. They did adapt, let's not forget. They tried acting more human-like, tried pretending to be more realistic and offensive. Is that a word? Offensive? That doesn't sound right. Authentic. Fucking hell, you stupid twat, Andrew. Tried acting more authentic, right? Example with me, because it got to the point where the fake accounts were trying to behave like me, and many people fell for it. Many did. Hence why I came to the conclusion of no longer participating in anyone else's live streams, live video premieres, as I've, said several times now. So it's quite obvious now, isn't it? But just based off levels and patterns of behaviour, first of all, there's a common trend. Defensive, asking weird questions, disappearing halfway through the chat, and so on like that. And that's how it was with the fake Ellen Burg account. Now, secondly, more reinforced, more concrete. The real Ellen Burg account did message me on a different platform and, explained it all and stuff. Okay. Now, could there be any more weird twists and turns in the cases just in general? Absolutely, right? So that's why you've got to be kind of on edge at times, right? Most of the fake accounts are fake accounts impersonations of other content creators or people that may not be content creators but are associated in the case, talked about, referred to, like Ellen Burg. She doesn't make videos on YouTube, but she is involved in the case in a way, how all the discussions and theories have gone about, okay? Has there been a fake Kurt Wadsworth account? I don't think so. Ultimately, one thing you got to ask yourself in the chat right now, it's a very important point, okay? Out of all the fake accounts of differing people, acting weird, acting negative to put a bad name on the original individual, that's the main aim and method, right? Which accounts, which people in the Dylan Rounds community have not been impersonated? Who? Has anyone impersonated Salty Pancakes? Yes or no? Has anyone impersonated Kurt Wadsworth? Yes or no? Has anyone impersonated Scott or Troy Wadsworth? Yes or no? You see that pattern? Because if certain people have not been impacted, affected, i.e. fake accounts set up, then you could say, not that they are the ones responsible, but they could be protected in some way or another. Now, I've personally not seen any fake Salty Pancake channels popping up from my own experience, okay? But I do understand that Salty Pancakes has been threatened on a more serious scale and harassed, supposedly speaking, with the discussions on live streams in the past. So I'm not dismissing Salty Pancakes. I'm not doing a typical manipulative minimalisation of saying nothing bad happened to him. But what I am saying is from my own experience and witnessing things, I've not seen a fake account of him and some other individuals like Kurt Wadsworth. So, do you think certain people are protected? Certain people are invincible in the case? Possibly. I mean, what's the percentage of fake accounts pretending to be a female, but they're actually a male? Does that really happen within the Dylan Brown's case, or is that just more elsewhere in different situations in life? There's no harm in checking out these little patterns. Like, if you saw some kind of pattern of all these fake accounts of drag accounts, like a profile picture of a drag person, then you could say, oh, is that associated with Kurt Wadsworth or someone like that because they're involved in it in some way? You know what I'm saying? Now, I can give you just a very brief breakdown. We'll call it body language. Maybe not as far as saying that, but when it came to Kurt Wadsworth, right? Kurt Wadsworth and who was it now? Mine's going blank, which is annoying. Kurt Wadsworth and Ellen Burg in the bar. They were drunk from the looks of it, obviously. When looking at Kurt, because he wasn't wearing a cap this time, he did look different. Bear in mind, I've not looked at Kurt Wadsworth much. Sounds a bit weird saying that, but no, I haven't, because I've not looked at videos, interviews, all that, because timing and doing my own stuff, right, first of all, and access to it as well. But, I mean, he's missing some teeth. He was pissed. He kind of looked like he didn't know where he was at, you know, or he kind of looked like he walked through a bush backwards, right? It was like, oh, do you need to take a seat? Oh, you have taken a seat. Did that stool pierce through that pole into your ass, man? I don't know. Well, I didn't seem too excited, so I don't think it did happen. But as for body language, you can't really interpret too much, right? I guess when someone is speaking and they're drunk, they might be more likely to reveal the truth. But in terms of actual body language, their eyes, their body language, their movement, it's not as raw, is it, right? They might say more, but I think body language is more and more practical to be analysed when a person is sober. Why is that? Well, if we supposedly already know or assume that alcohol, enough of it, equals being drunk, equals revealing the truth verbally, then body language, physical body language observations don't really matter because you're already hearing the truth verbally. So really, body language assessment analysis is more practical when someone is not drunk, when someone is sober, when someone is less likely to reveal the truth verbally. So you look for other cues in behaviour. Eyes, eye contact, blinking, hand movement, arms crossed, hands clasped, slumped over, stood up straight, moving around, rocking backwards and forwards. Because you've got to look at external stuff to penetrate through that shield of lies, right? Or just to see if there are any lies to begin with. If you don't have the substance of alcohol to make them speak, you need to use other means, but more covert operations. If you walked in, put glasses on, had a clipboard and said, I'm going to stand in for this interview, and you're wearing a white lab coat, it's going to be some kind of researcher bias or some kind of researcher negative influence, which will impact the dependent variable, right? The independent variable, I guess, the researcher needs to be removed and operate it, observe it on the outside, live or after watching it on screen, right? Just like how I have, in a way. Now, I can't remember who exactly it was now. The odd person was salivating. Ugh. Wes, not you. But another person was salivating, growling, clawing and scratching, saying, oh yeah, fucking give it to me right now. I want a deeper analysis, a deeper body language of Candice Cooley. And technically, I have done that, but to their standards, I did not quite meet the requirements. I'm sorry. But this is the thing. You go so far, you don't go too deep. Is that practical? Yeah. Time efficiency, but also not going too deep down the rabbit hole, okay? Arguably, some people could look deeper. If I tried, it might become unnatural. I might start forcing myself to see things which don't actually exist within someone. And then that kind of unravels all the progress, all the discussion, observations made previous. That's why I only look at it so much to an extent. And then if down the line, I can reassess it with different material, then compared to previous material, I might actually see something. And that's exactly what happened with Kenny Veach's girlfriend, Sharon Pilgrim. But it wasn't body language, it was language and tone of text used in comment section. And this is the thing, right? If you're able to see through something, see through someone with limited material, and you manage to get it somewhat accurate and right, then it only becomes easier and more deadly to pick up on something when you've got more material to work with, right? Very random example, but I can use it right now. A person who I knew in the past 2016, right? All the little details here and there. End of the day, I only knew so much about them. Yet, due to some confrontations and arguments, I just said to him, within a 5-year period, in the next 5 years, you're going to do this, you're going to move on to that, you're going to transition onto that. The whole purpose and aim of reaching out to me was to integrate here and to settle down, and then eventually move on, here, there, bye, piss off, and then I become a ghost. Did I have any proof of that? No. Did I have any concrete evidence to prove that? No. Did I have any real text messages, videos, photos, audio recordings, forums, online discussions, anything of any sort, anything concrete, anything visual, auditory? No. I had absolutely nothing. I just said what I said, what I thought, what I was feeling. Their response, their immediate response, yes. Yes, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what I was going to do. For someone to reply in that tone and sentence immediately is not a good thing. Whilst you as a person are right in judgment and predicting and foreshadowing, it's still not good to be told you're right. It tends to be better if you're proven wrong, and it's more of a positive surprise, but that's just how it was. So if I was able to predict that within a 5-year period and get it right 5 years before it's even happened, then you can understand why I've been able to make certain predictions at certain times within the Dylan Rounds case, you know? And this is the thing, people will jump on in and say, well, if you're such an expert, if you're such a mystic person with all these mystical powers, then predict where, when, and how Dylan will be found. Well, I can't, because that's the key thing. I don't go around left, right, and centre making predictions after predictions after predictions. You know, you got to have some kind of sense, first of all. Because if you don't, and you just do it at will, left, right, and centre, inaccuracy followed by inaccuracy, it becomes pointless, right? You lose credibility, you get more things wrong. You get what I'm saying? If for some people who don't understand, if you apply it to a video game, if you're playing some kind of fantasy game and you're casting spells and you use too many in a short space of time, you drain your stamina. Once you've drained your stamina or your potions, whatever they may be, it tends to be a blue bar, Can you cast any more? No, you've got to wait for a recharge. Sometimes, if you use too many up in a short space of time, there's a cooldown period, and then you're kind of punished. If you're lock picking in a video game, it might become increasingly harder the more attempts you try at it. Just as an example, hence why I don't make predictions all over the place within the case, okay? So if you have just joined right now, I'll just bring it up once again. Burg is the latest individual to witness and encounter a fake impersonation account of her online, right? Just want to let you know. As for any reference, if you do look back at some of my previous videos in the comment section, like Burg did give a super chat or a super thanks recently. That's her actual account, right? You can just use it as a reference point in the future. If you're ever confused, just refer back to a previous video Burg commented in, view it, go to the about section, voila. And also, remember this pattern as well. Aside from all the defensive, resistant and questioning behaviour in these impersonation accounts, eventually transitioning into more human level behaviour to appear more authentic, what you must realise, majority, if not 100% of fake accounts, their presence is merely and only in the live chat of a live video premiere or a live stream. They have, from my experience, from what I've witnessed, they have never left a comment in the comment section. The comment section is different to the live chat, okay? The comment section is what you would see on a default video uploaded, not scheduled, not live, just uploaded, like how you'd normally do, right? So, you get what I'm saying? If a individual leaves a comment in the comment section, they're more likely genuine. I'm not saying that you use that one filter, that one observation, and then apply it to every single situation. No, you take it in mind, that observation, that method, and that one, and this one, and that one, and this one, and does it match, okay? Is there anything else to say? Do I have any more predictions? Not at this moment, because I do not want to force any, because it would become unnatural. Is there a chance Heavy D may return? Yeah, possibly. I mean, what you got to understand, and it's interesting this, we might as well bring it up. Out of the Dylan Rounds case, who was the last person that was assisted by Heavy D and his crew? Was it Lance Kelly? Was it Candice Cooley? It was Candice Cooley. And it was that question and answer interview inside of the grain shed when it was talked about, and Heavy D said, so what about these external searchers going out there? You know, does Justin approve of it? And Candice, was it that one? No, it wasn't that one. Scrap that part. But Candice Cooley did bring up Lance and Kelly about the bag and bones and that whole mess. And Heavy D heard it from her, right? So maybe certain impressions of how Candice Cooley views Lance Kelly and Ty Corbin has led to Heavy D and his crew siding more with her than Lance Kelly, an outsider. Let's do a poll right now. It might be the first, it might be the only one in this chat, who knows? Do you think Heavy D sides with Candice Cooley / Justin or Lance Kelly / Ty? Or is he sitting on the fence? That can be a third option, okay? Just want to know your thoughts. The reason why I bring that up is because, first of all, it's evident that Heavy D and his crew last worked with Candice Cooley, and then before that, assisted with Lance and Ty. And it was in recent time in that video by Lance Kelly, the one I analysed, where he was giving his point of view, right? Where Lance said, when it came to the bag of bones situation, he reached out to Heavy D in hopes that they could help and assist in some way, but he never got back to him. And there was talks about Heavy D and his crew returning back to help Lance explore mine shafts, but it's still gone quiet, radio silence. So maybe Heavy D does not want to associate with Lance anymore when the actual family of the missing person, Candice Cooley, Justin Rounds, whether it be both or just Candice, have spoken negatively about Lance, right? You think of this pattern. Whether it be to grow your channel or just to simply build reports with key individuals in a case, you want to help, you want it to be meaningful, you want it to be reached and achieved. Who do you target? Who do you go after? Who do you question for answers? If you're getting involved in a case for the first time and you want to know the facts, or supposedly the facts, you go directly to the people in the epicenter of it all, the family, who are obviously suffering, but also receiving information from all sides and all different people before the random general public would receive it, right? And they themselves are allowed to join in with the search and search about themselves because they're entitled to, and so on. So an outsider like Heavy D and his crew would directly probably favour the family of the missing person rather than an outsider of the missing person who's decided to join on in. It makes sense. So because of the way it's all followed, the order, maybe Heavy D might not reach out to Lance ever again. I don't know. Things could get a bit petty, or, you know, you want to remain in favour. If people don't quite understand what I'm getting at there, just remember, some people recently said Doug from No Thanks supposedly is siding with Candice Cooley. I don't know how else you would word it. Some people may have suggested that Doug is licking Candice Cooley's arse, okay, in order to gain favour, in order to be engaged in the loop of information, be right at the epicenter of it, to also, if you're on the right side, when Candice Cooley may fire back in the future legally, Doug won't be harmed because he's friends with Candice Cooley. So it's all about side taking. That's yet another element, right? Although the obvious mentality would be, we all need to get together, hold hands and have lots of hope. Majority of the time, that won't happen. Majority of the time, it won't. And that's why it goes to side taking, whether it be people wanting to grow their channels or wanting to stay safe. It applies just like with real life situations where you get all these jokes made now where people are saying, oh, you need to make friends with the quiet kid in high school. You need to respect the quiet kid in high school because he might eventually save your life down the line. When it comes to that day and you've been good to him, he'll say, don't come into school the next day. So you're seeing fake manipulative behaviour in which the only reason why people are suddenly being nice to the quiet kid in the corner of the room is so that their own life is saved soon or in the future. Some kind of insurance policy, just like with this case and mystery. Get in favour of the right people, receive information, get in favour and be liked by certain people. You won't get attacked, right? And I could give an example, but an example which goes against it, but still leads to some kind of resolution, okay? And I'm going to say it right now. Sleeper Cell. Sleeper Cell Jen. I had no clue who that person was. And to an extent, to this day, they are somewhat mysterious, and that is all to me. In the past, when there was all kinds of bashing going on, because I covered the case, there was misinterpretation, misguidance, misunderstanding. I was assumed I was involved in the negativity, though clearly I wasn't. It was resolved in the end. But what I'm saying is, am I in favour of certain people? I don't know. That doesn't matter. But as long as there is clarity and no misunderstanding, then there shouldn't be possible attacks or resistance or retaliation in the future, right? So there's other ways of going about it. You don't have to bend over backwards and bow down to someone unless you really want to. But no, seriously speaking, you can just be basic, not overreactive, and just genuine, and you'll still get attacked, but not to the same extent, right? Or you could do it the very unnatural way and the manipulative way of, being really, really nice and extra, extra attentive to save your own back. And maybe that's what certain people have done in the Dylan Brown's case. People have their different methods, right? Anything else? Shack Lady left a comment recently, when we were looking at Oakley, Idaho, and I said, oh, is that the Shack Lady's shack? And she was like, don't be silly, man. I'm like, well, man, calm down. I know exactly what's going on, man. You don't even have to deny it, Shack Lady. I've already seen it written in the stars. And guess what? There's no stars in the sky because it's too dark outside to see. You make that one out. Reality is, we already looked at the Shake Shack Ladies restaurant, in which Famous Up already went to, drunk the whole stock. There was no more milkshakes or ice cream left. We've already been there. We've already infiltrated the area. That's why the Shack Lady was gone for so long. She was running a goddamn business elsewhere, man. So, it's the thing. All this research, Now, kind of unfortunate, but I did come across one place. I guess I can show you it now, just very quickly on the spot, just for the sake of it. Okay. Now, all I can say to this is, no offense, it's just very unfortunate that this came up. We've got the Crack Shack, and it's worldwide, man. The Crack Shack, Salt Lake City, Riverton, Lee, Las Vegas. Which one do you want to go to? We'll go to fucking anyone. I don't care, man. Let's go to the Crack Shack. What could go wrong, right? What could possibly go wrong? You've had all these people recently calling her out as the Crack Shady. Well, we've got the Crack Shack. We've even got, I think, a rooster here. I'll do a quick chicken sound alongside the rooster just so I don't look like an idiot. And there you go. I just thought it was worth it. So, Crack Shack. What have you got, Shack? Wow. That's a lot, man. You're really piling it on. God damn it. All about size. But then again, Shack Lady, because you've done 10, 11, 12 hour streams, it probably takes 10, 12 hours to make food like that as well. So I don't blame you. Yeah, my God, it's just all salad. Where's the main course, man? Maria, I think this is just meant for you because it's so green. Oh no, why do you have all white? Like, I can understand having sauce on it, but why would you have all white stuff on the bun and on the sides dripping and leaking down? Because when you grab the chicken burger in your hand, your hand's going to get very sticky. It's not practical. Crack Shady, what do we have here? The Crack Shack. Oh yeah, I know exactly what's happened here, Shack Lady. I remember you in that live stream responding back to my question, how I said your original profile picture was quite good, and you replied with, well, actually, I was using some AI technology app, which used algorithms of keywords to generate some kind of mystical fantasy interpretation photo of what I typed in at the time, which is of a mysterious individual with all kinds of blue flowing stuff gliding around the circular circumference of my profile picture. Well, guess what? The Crack Shack does the same thing with fucking rooster retro interpretation AI technology of weird algorithms and fancy flesh and colours. Shack Lady, I wouldn't be surprised if you got fucking, my God, did you collaborate with Zav Girl with those impressionable colours and this glittery, shimmery stuff? I would not be surprised whatsoever, man. Chicken, exactly. At least these photos are a bit more professional, including the fries. But they're a little bit burnt on their tips. Don't want burnt tips. What the hell's that person done? They've literally wiped the sauce all the way around, except on the meat. Stop wiping it on the side. Wipe it on your meat. You don't want your meat dry. No. Yeah. A little whipped cream for the whipped boys and girls. Oh, Shack Lady, you need to get more people in your bar. Yeah. That's funny. Very funny, Shack Lady. You do realise that in terms of Famous Up is for one person, right? Sure, it could feed everyone on the Last Supper, but for Famous Up, she would have devoured it all. And some of those members on that table would not have been happy. Poor John, 316. I have no food left, I'm starving. Rest in peace, John, 316. Let's move on. Oh yeah, we got the layers, we got the depth. It's clean, it's smooth. Shag Lady, you are reaching higher levels. Yeah. A little bit messy there. Bit of an accident on the side. Unfortunate. Indiana, can you please clean that up? You've got extensive background with that, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Very beigey brown thing. Oh yeah, we got a little cookie, but I bet the surprise is it's probably gluten-free or it's probably vegan. Fuck that. I want a fucking chunky chocolate cookie in my mouth, not some pathetic excuse of a fake interpretation, man. Do not want a fake impersonation account of a cookie boy, Cookie Monster. Oh my God, we got a little Mutt's Juicy Juice, little juicy apple juicy juice bugs. Squishy. No thanks. Salad, piss off. No. I'm going to turn into the Hulk in a second if I don't get the meat. That sounds a bit gay. Some very clear liquid. Well, no, it's a bit cloudy. Ooh, hope that's lemonade and nothing else. Is that it? Clucking? Yeah, we're going to be clucking all over the place right now, man. Choking on the chicken bones. My God, Crack Shack. Looks impressive. Looks reasonable. Thumbs up to you. Okay, so we're very stretched for time now, so I'll have to go now. I don't know if I'll have an outro or not, maybe not. If I can find a photo, like literally a still photo, it might seem pointless, but I'll just use it so then the video can be extended so the chat continues and you can carry on talking, okay? And I'll still be present to answer any questions or as many questions as I can answer or so within the chat, okay? So carry on talking and I'll see you visually next time in the next video, which may be tomorrow or the day after because of football, okay? So thanks for watching, but also thanks for continuing to watch this and I'll see you next time. Good night and goodbye for now.